Hello, Rob here, and welcome to R&B Reviews. Today I'm going to be doing my spoiler review of the Star Wars The Last Jedi. And yes, I know I'm standing in front of the poster for the wrong Star Wars movie, bear with me. So we're going to go ahead, I'll go ahead and share my thoughts now. I just want to let you know, if you have not seen Star Wars The Last Jedi, don't watch the rest of this review, go see it, or if you prefer, you can go to the description box and you can watch the spoiler-free version that I uploaded. Thank you for checking out R&B Reviews. Now, like I mentioned in my spoiler-free review, I didn't know what to expect. For those of you that don't know, I didn't get to go see Star Wars The Last Jedi opening weekend. So for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, I did see it the following weekend, so for roughly about a week, I tried my best. I didn't watch any reviews. I didn't read reviews. Sometimes when I was on Facebook and scrolling past my friends, especially if they're movie review persons on YouTube as well, I tried not to look at their posts, although sometimes I glimpsed a sentence here, a sentence there. And I did see a headline that I didn't read, but I did read a headline that said Mark Hamill wasn't happy with how he was asked to portray Luke Skywalker, and I heard that there was a petition to get this movie removed from the Star Wars canon. And even in the screening room of the movie, there were some people at the end of the movie that clapped, and there was somebody in my row that said that this movie sucks. So, overall, I think my impression with the movie was I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good movie, but it did have some problems, which I will get into in full detail now. Okay, so performances. For the most part, I think the performances were great. The only one I didn't care for was Rose. She was okay, but everybody else, Carrie Fisher, Oscar Isaacs, and Adam Driver, and Daisy Ridley, I thought were all very good here. Structure was probably the problem that I had the most issues with, other than humor, which we will get into that in a moment. Like, for example, in the beginning of near the beginning of the movie, as many of you know, Princess Leia, or I think General Leia, she's known by this time, her ship blows up and she's floating in space. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, okay, I remember the year before when Carrie Fisher died, somebody asked Kathleen Kennedy, who's one of the producers, and I think she's one of the presidents of Lucasfilms, about how they're going to get Carrie Fisher's character or into the next Star Wars movie, Star Wars 9. And she said something along the lines of Carrie Fisher's story is over. So I thought, okay, maybe that's what she meant. Princess Leia, since Han Solo got killed in Force Awakens, now it's going to be Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia character that's going to die. So I thought, oh, okay, that's probably what they meant. And then all of a sudden, she kind of gets sucked back in and comes back to life. Now, what happened exactly? Now, I don't know. If they had given some sort of explanation, like let's say Luke on his island sensed that Princess Leia was in trouble and he did something to get her to safety, okay, I probably would have bought into it, but it didn't really make any sense. I did read that Rian Johnson cut about 40 to 60 minutes out of the movie, so I don't know if there was an explanation that got cut out. I don't know. And another thing is with the structure. I thought that, like I mentioned in my spoiler-free review, I thought the subplot with Finn and Rose, I think, could have been tightened even more. I think that subplot tended to ramble on a little bit. Like, I know they touched upon animal cruelty and it was nice, but I felt like it didn't really go in here. Another thing that I really didn't care about with this Star Wars movie was the humor. Some of it just didn't fit. If you look at the other Star Wars movies, the humor has always been sarcastic or a little dark. Like, for example, the opening scene where I believe his name's General Hux is on the intercom talking to Isaac's character. Hux is like, we're going to destroy you rebels, you scum, you're going to regret this. And Oscar Isaac's character says stuff like, hi, is Hux still there? No, I'll just keep on waiting. Oh, by the way, how's your mother? And stuff like that. And I'm like, what? That just didn't really, that took me out because I thought that didn't really gel in with what, with Star Wars. It just, to me, that didn't really fit in very well. Here's what I liked about the movie. The characters have their own subplots going on, so they got something to do, like Finn and Rose is off doing their own thing. They're trying to, find a safe cracker, and let's see, Princess Leia and Oscar Isaac are on their own subplot, and there's drama going on there. And then there's Daisy Ridley's character, Rey, and Luke Skywalker. She's trying to convince him to come back and help the rebels, and he doesn't want to go back because of because of what he blames himself for Kylo Ren, and he doesn't like the idea that people are thinking of him as a legend. He's not comfortable with that, and I kind of like that dramatic aspect of it. Another criticism other people seem to have is, and this is going to lead into another thing I didn't really get into. People said that when General Snork got killed by Kylo, that he is not a big enough threat to carry the rest of the trilogy. I don't think so. I think he probably could. I think I can definitely see that. And now this is going to sound like a very weird criticism, but when General Snork got killed, I was surprised because in the original trilogy, the Emperor kind of had a presence through all three of those films. I mean, you didn't see him in Star Wars: A New Hope, but somebody at one of the meetings, like General Tarkin and a group of men were bringing him up in one scene, and then you saw a hologram of him in The Empire Strikes Back, and then you saw him in Return of the Jedi. Now, granted, you kind of had to buy into the fact that you don't, up until we got the prequel trilogy, you didn't know where this character came from, how he came to power. You kind of have to accept that. With Snork, I was surprised because I thought he was going to be kind of like the evil force throughout the whole trilogy, just like the Emperor was. And I was surprised when he got killed. I mean, again, I can kind of see Kylo and Hux kind of taking over that mantle. I think maybe since J.J. Abrams coming back to direct and write, and maybe if they bring Lawrence Kasdan, who co-wrote Force Awakens and some of the other Star Wars movies, and maybe they can make something out of that. But I can definitely see that. But I was really surprised, and I really wished I had known more about how General Snork came into power. I mean, granted, you didn't really get a backstory with the Emperor, but here with General Snork, I'm like, how did he come to power? Who is he? And all that stuff. So I don't know if we're going to get another film that's going to explain that in the future. Another positive thing you can say about Star Wars is, you can't, a lot of people criticized Force Awakens for being almost like a carbon copy of New Hope. I don't think you can quite do that with comparing this to Empire Strikes Back. I mean, yeah, there's Yoda appears in it, and then they're on an ice planet near the end. But, I thought, it's definitely its own film, and I know Rian Johnson did some things to the characters, changed it up. I mean, are kind of in a series of transition. They are kind of cleaning house in the sense that, you got these new characters. You got Ridley's characters and John Boyega's character and Oscar Isaac's character is kind of taking things over, and Han Solo's gone. Obviously, Carrie Fisher's gone, in real life, and Mark Hamill, his character is gone. Maybe he'll come back as one of those ghosts, like you've seen, like Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan in the original trilogy, or Yoda that you see here. Maybe, but I think I imagine Anthony Daniels, C-3PO, is probably the only original cast member that may be still around in the film. I don't know what's going to happen. But they're cleaning house, they're getting rid of the old trilogy, but at the same time, they're kind of getting rid of what J.J. Abrams brought in. You get a whole story about Daisy Ridley, wanting to know who she is, and then when Adam Driver says that, I know who your parents are, they're just ordinary, Ravengers, I was like, that. And I was surprised they got rid of General Snork so soon, because I thought he was going to have a longer presence. But overall, I know it sounds like I'm complaining, but I mean, I liked it, I enjoyed it. I just think there was some structure problems, and I just thought the humor didn't fit in. But I thought the last hour and a half of the movie was excellent. I thought the action and the suspense in those last couple of hours, it was great. The performances were really good. So I do recommend Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I thought it was an entertaining movie. Let's just see where the next movie goes, and we'll see what the Han Solo spin-off movie looks like. Surprise. And that's another thing. One more thing that I wanted to mention. When Luke's death, it didn't impact me quite as much as Han Solo's death, because I think it's because I thought Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia character died, and at first, and then when Luke actually died, I'm like, that didn't really affect me. I think it got sucked out when I thought Carrie Fisher's character had passed on. But anyway, I give Star Wars: The Last Jedi a see it in theaters rating. I think it's worth seeing on the big screen. So go ahead and tell me what you thought of the movie. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Go ahead and post your comments. And if you're interested, check out the main page. Look at some other reviews of movies you can watch in the theaters or on in the comforts of your own home. If you want to check out my spoiler-free review, you can. And if you're interested, consider being a subscriber. Thank you very much for watching.